guys, and welcome back to another predictions video. And in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Kingpin YouTuber Boxer Tournament, which I'm going to be calling the Anison Gibb versus Mcbroom rematch prediction. If you're new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you're doing the like video, and let's get straight into it. So I'm calling it this just because it's the biggest fight on the whole card, and so it just makes sense for me to do that. And then when they move on to the next fights, whichever one I think is the biggest one from that, I'll just say that as the title. Anyway, moving on to the fights, I'm just going to go for each fight. Not really going to go crazy in depth because I don't know a lot about certain ones of these fighters, but yeah, let's just get straight into it. So, going to start off with the men's side of things, and so the first fight is Winderson versus Filipek, and I don't really know too much about either one of these fighters. I know that Winderson has a big Brazilian following, and Filipek I literally know nothing about. Winderson, I believe, has got some sort of past experience with kind of boxing or martial arts or something, and so a lot of the fellow fighters are ranking him quite highly in their tiers, and so I'm going to go with a Winderson win. Moving on now to the My Mate Nate versus King Kenny fight. Kenny, of course, coming off that loss versus Raksu, and that being his second boxing loss now, and so he just didn't really commit much, didn't really throw much. He is a good technical outside boxer, but if you're not going to be able to counter that, he's a good defensive boxer, but if you're not going to be able to counter that with the attack, then you can't really do anything. And My Mate Nate is seemingly a very skilled boxer as well, quite technical boxer, and obviously I think he's had some sort of past experiences in a different country fighting, and seemingly going well for him. And I think that this test will probably just be too much for King Kenny. He's obviously going to be wanting to prove himself with this, and so it wouldn't surprise me if he does get the win, but I'm going to go with a My Mate Nate win with that one. Moving on now to the Jarvis versus Zanetti fight. Jarvis hasn't fought in a while. He fought on the Bryce Hall Mcbroom undercard, which was quite a while ago now, and so now to see him back fighting, he seemingly is a very good fighter. I mean, he did that sparring against Mayweather, didn't look terrible in it, but he is a fast and technical boxer. But I think Zanetti, I think he's just too big. Like the way that he fought versus Slim, it wasn't overly technical or anything like that, but he just has such immense heart and just desire to win. I just don't see Jarvis being able to stop him, and I think I think there is just a big kind of, if there's not a height difference or a weight difference, and there's just a big kind of, I suppose, just difference in strength, physical strength, and I think that Jarvis I don't see him being able to knock down Zanetti, and I just think that Zanetti's just going to keep coming forwards and just keep using, I suppose, the dog inside of him to keep going, and I think Zanetti's going to win this one. People are kind of giving it to Jarvis because technically he's a better boxer, but I think that doesn't matter when you're always matter. It sometimes, of course, does, but I don't think it always matters when you are against somebody that just has immense amounts of heart. And I mean, he took some huge punches versus Slim and didn't go down and just carried on coming forwards. And so, I just think that Jarvis might be better suited to a lower weight division, and probably will still have a good YouTube boxing career after this. But I just don't see him being able to beat Zanetti currently. Moving on now to the Anison Gibb versus Mcbroom. In my opinion, biggest fight of this whole thing. Of course, the last fight was I wouldn't say an overly close fight. I mean, Mcbroom, of course, got the knockdown in the earlier rounds, and then Anison Gibb just came and just kept knocking him down over and over again, and just showed his desire and his boxing skill. He is a very skilled boxer, and his style is quite unpredictable and quite hard to counter against, and he is powerful as well, and his mindset is great as well, and so I think he is one of the better YouTuber boxers, and I think he is the best fighter, arguably, from the ones I know on this card. Obviously there's ones like My Mate Nate and Winderson and Filipek that could be really, really good that I just don't really know too much about at the moment, but from what I've seen from Gibb and from seemingly what everybody's seen, they're kind of ranking him as one of the best around in this tournament especially, and so I think Anison Gibb will win this via TKO in round 4. I think it's a 5-round fight, and so I just don't see Mcbroom being able to really test Gibb too much. Obviously, I think he'll be able to stay in there for quite a while, but I think Gibb's just relentless pressure will just wear him down eventually and being able to get him out of there. Moving on now to the women's side of things, we're going to start off with Brooke versus O'Donnell. I know very little about both of these fighters, and I mean, I think Brooke's only been fighting for like a couple months now, and so O'Donnell been training for a little bit longer. I wouldn't say much longer. That's the only thing I'm going to go off it, and I'm going to go with an O'Donnell victory. And that means the Brooke versus Brooke fight won't happen, unfortunately. But yeah, I just don't see it happening. Moving on now to Barbie versus Jones. Barbie, a big fighter, one of the tallest, if not the tallest, in the tournament in the female side of things. And Jones got good strength, seemingly has a bit of kind of martial arts background of some sorts, and has seemingly done levels of fighting in the past, only minimal levels though. And people are writing Barbie as one of the favourites because she is quite tall and I suppose maybe physically one of the strongest. But I am going to go with Jones' victory for this one. I think she's going to be coming in there to surprise them, and she's very well conditioned from the scenes of it. And so yeah, I think she's like does some like gym related content. I don't really know, but I think that Jones is going to win. Moving on now to Helmsley versus Poker. Helmsley, I don't really know too much about. I don't think she's been boxing for that long. Poker, I believe, has some Brazilian mixed martial arts background in her, and so I'm going to go with Poker to win. Also, I think she is quite physically big as well and quite physically strong, so I think she'll be able to win this one relatively comfortably. And then moving on to, I suppose, the main event of the women's side of things being Brooke versus Danilka. Danilka, I don't know how long she's been fighting for. She is one of the Polish fighters, and I believe maybe been fighting for a bit longer than some of these people on this card. And so, Brooke, I mean, of course, she's coming off the victory versus Ordway. Good, dominant victory. Showed her physical strength, power, and yeah, I think she's going to win this one relatively easily. I mean, I said TKO in round one. I think the speed and the kind of just the way that she's been fighting, where she just kind of sprints into the middle and just throws everything. I just don't see many of these fighters, bar possibly a couple, being able to deal with that kind of pressure straight away. And so, yeah, I think Brooke will win via TKO in round one. And yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you did indeed like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.